Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. It's Tuesday, time to talk about some new releases coming out this Friday, August 25th. There's about 500 albums coming out this week. I got 14 on the list for today. There's a bunch of links down below. Make sure you check them out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlists that we put together every week, the Patreon page. Make sure you go check all that out. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. Like I said in the intro, there's about 500 albums coming out this week. I'm only going to talk about 14 on the show today, so if there's something I don't talk about, make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to grabbing this week. And like always, if you're unable to find any of these in your local brick and mortar stores, I'll put links down below. These should all be available online. There's a couple of big new releases coming out this week that I'm really excited about. I've had both of them on pre-order now for a while. The first one, this is MxPx, Find a Way Home. It's their 11th studio album. There's going to be multiple variants that are going to be available with this. I think there's like 4 standard variants, and then there's also a picture disc option that's all going to run you about $25. It's not a bad price for a new release. So this album, just like their self-titled album from 2018, is all self-released by the band. They're not going through a label, so it's not going to be available in any of your local stores. It's only going to be available online. The first single off the album, which is Stay Up All Night, it's a fantastic track. I've been playing it a lot since it dropped a few weeks back, and like I said, really looking forward to this album. I'm a big MxPx fan. I've loved the band for 25 years now. They're definitely one of my favorite bands, so it's one that I definitely had on pre-order. Actually, I've got multiple variants on pre-order. So you got that coming out, and then you've also got Alice Cooper, Road. It's his 22nd solo album. This is a 2 LP, 1 DVD set that's being released for about $35, so it's a pretty good price for what you're getting in this. There's also multiple variants that are going to be available with this one also. There's going to be a standard black one, which I think is what's up on Amazon. And then there's like a blue indie exclusive. I think there's also a red variant. And I think there's a third color also, but I might be wrong on that one. I've got the red one on pre-order. It's an album I've been looking forward to for a while now. So what Alice Cooper wanted to do with Road is he really wanted to showcase his Road band. So this is all recorded live in the studio. From what Alice Cooper has said, there's no overdubs on this. And I think it really helped kind of recreate the magic and energy that is in their road shows. I'm really looking forward to this release. Some great features on here also. You got Tom Morello on here. You got Keith Nelson of Buck Cherry, and you got Wayne Kramer of MC5. Like I said, it's going to be a big release. I'm sure this is going to be a great album. This week, we're also getting the next release from the Season series that Weezer released last year. This was released in September of last year. It was released digitally. It's now coming out on vinyl, but this is Autumn. It's going to run you about $22 online. This is the third of 4 EPs that they did for that Season series. So they've already released spring, summer, and now autumn, and then winter will be coming out here, I would assume, over the next month or two. Of the 4 Seasons releases, this is definitely my least favorite. I think there's 8 tracks on here. They're all kind of largely forgettable, but I might grab it just because I'll probably end up getting all 4 of the Seasons releases anyway, just to have a package of it. But I'll probably wait till after winter is released. But if you're a Weezer fan, it might be a good one to grab. And then you've got Alanis Morissette, The Collected, coming out. This was released back in 2005, but it was never available on vinyl until now. This is a double LP. It's going to run you about $35 online. There's 19 tracks from 4 of her biggest albums. I guess she kind of neglected the first 2 albums of her career. So this is everything from 1995 to 2005. Some of her best stuff is going to be on here. Plus, there's some soundtrack releases on here. There's also a great cover of Crazy by Seal on this release. It is a great collection. For me, Alanis Morissette is one of those musicians that I'm probably good just having a greatest hits compilation. Even though I do have Jagged Little Pill also. But between those 2 releases, I'm probably good with a lot of her stuff. There's kind of a funny, kind of quirky album coming out this week that I'm sure everyone knows one track off this album, but has probably never listened to anything else off of it. And it's definitely one, I would say it's at least worth streaming and checking out. But this is Right Said Fred, Up. First released back in 1992. It was their debut album. I had no clue that the band released 9 studio albums. I think their latest album was released back in 2017. I had no clue. This is going to be on red vinyl. It's going to run you about $30 online. Of course, the big smash hit was I'm Too Sexy. which when this album came out, you couldn't get away from that song. It was literally everywhere, all over the radio, all over MTV. But the funny thing is, behind that song, I mean, I'm sure maybe a lot of people don't know this, but the brothers that made up the band at that time, or early part of the 90s, owned a gym. And they had all these models that would come into the gym every day. And this song is making fun of all those people that used to come in their gym. So if you know that, I think kind of adds a different element to the song. And I would say go back and check out the rest of the album. The rest of the album is kind of weird and strange and kind of quirky also. But as far as like the pop flavor to it, I think it's some of it is kind of catchy. It's like I said, it's a decent album. I probably won't pick it up for $30, but it's at least worth streaming and checking out. And then you got a couple of so I guess over the last several months, Aerosmith has been reissuing large parts of their catalog. You have a few albums coming out this week. You got Rockin' a Hard Place, which was released back in '82, is their 7th studio album. It's going to run you $21. I think that's the great thing about these Aerosmith reissues. First off, they're all remastered from the original analog tapes. They sound absolutely fantastic. I've got a couple that they've released so far, and I think comparing them to my original pressings, I like these new remasters, and they're a great price. Like I said, it's going to run you $21. And this is the only Aerosmith album not to have Joe Perry on guitar on this album. He actually left the band back in '79. Brad Whitford actually left the band during the recording process also, so he's not even really heavily featured on the album. As far as like Aerosmith albums go, I think this is a pretty good album. Even though, like I said, you don't have that heart that Joe Perry really brings in to their music with the guitar, it is still a really good album. We're also getting 9 Lives from Aerosmith this week. This was released back in 1997. It was their 12th studio album. It's a double LP, so it's going to be a little more expensive. It's going to run you about $38 online. When 9 Lives was released, I was a big fan of like Permanent Vacation and Pump when those albums came out. And then 9 Lives came out, and I feel differently about that album. When I listen to that album, to me it sounds like Aerosmith really trying to recreate those catchy songs from Pump and from Permanent Vacation, and really kind of missing the mark on a lot of it. I'm not a huge fan of this album. I know it sold a ton of copies when it was released, and it was also charted pretty well here in the U.S. But it's remastered from the original analog tapes. I'm sure it's going to sound fantastic. They did win a Grammy for Pink, the one single off of the album. $38. I already have a copy of it, so I'll probably pass on that one. But that one is going to be coming out this week. And then you've also got Live Bootleg coming out. This was released back in 1978. So this is interesting because it's a collection of live tracks from 77 and 78. A great period for Aerosmith. Aerosmith was really firing on all cylinders at that point in their career. I know there's a lot of turmoil in the band in that late part of the 70s, but their live stuff is absolutely fantastic. The funny thing is about this is the band was trying to recreate the feel of those bootleg albums from the later part of the 70s. So there's even like there's track listing errors on there. I don't remember what track it is, but there's a track that's listed on there that's not on the album, and then there's a song that's on the album that's not listed in the track listing. But it's a great live album. Like I said, it's definitely one worth checking out. It's gonna run you $38 though, so it's I think a little pricey for what you're getting, but it is a great live album. This week you got a couple of really great R.E.M. albums coming out. And as far as like R.E.M. albums go, I think post Monster, these are their 2 best albums after Monster. I really love both of these. One I might put probably in my top 5 as far as R.E.M. albums go. But the first one, this is Reveal, released back in 2001. It was their 12th studio album. It's going to run you about $30 online. I wasn't a big fan of their 2 albums that came out before this. So there's 2 albums between Monster and Reveal. I didn't like either one of those. But Reveal has a little more of like an upbeat sound, a little more. They added some more synthesizers in there. I think it has a little bit more of that classic R.E.M. sound to it. I think that's why the album worked as well as it did. So you got that one coming out this week, and then you got Accelerate coming out. This was released in 2008. It was their 14th studio album. It's also going to run you about $40 online. I think this is definitely a return to form album. So, but after Reveal came out, they released Away from the Sun, I think was the name of it. It was a bad album. I did not like the album. It was kind of widely panned. The band even really didn't like the album. And then they released Accelerate, and it was really kind of, I think, more in line of what they were doing before with Reveal. But Accelerate has a little more of a heavier sound to it, and it's a great album. Like I said, this is the one where I would put this probably in the top 5 as far as R.E.M. releases. And if you haven't checked that one out, highly recommend going back and streaming it and checking it out. So this week you got the Velvet Underground Loaded being reissued. And I know their debut album gets all the hype and everyone loves that debut album. In my opinion, I think Loaded is definitely their, the best album from the Velvet Underground. This is also the last one with Lou Reed before he left the band. Just dynamic-wise, musically, I think in my opinion, it's far superior. I know there's 2 big tracks on that album. It's a really complete album overall also. But it was released back in 1970. It was their 4th studio album. It's going about $25 online. So this is an Amazon exclusive transparent grape vinyl. Not purple. It's grape. So I don't know what the difference is between the two. But Rock and Roll and Sweet Jane, of course, were the 2 big tracks that everyone knows off this one. But like I said before, album-wise, I think this is their most complete album. It's one that really the only Velvet Underground album that I kind of go back and listen to. And, it's definitely worth streaming and checking out if you're unfamiliar with that one. And then you got Shania Twain coming over being reissued. First released back in 1997. It was their 3rd studio album. It's a 25th anniversary, which I know was last year for their album. But this is a double LP. It's going to be about $38 online. So whereas her album before was very much like a straightforward country album, this was more of a country pop album, and I think the pop elements really helped pull in more people into her music. It was a huge album. It sold over 40 million copies. It is the number one female. It's the number 1 album of all time by a female artist. It's the highest selling country album of all time. It was everywhere. It was like the kind of the way I look at it. It was almost like the Thriller of country music, where every single track on here was a big hit single. I think there was 12 singles that came off this album. It was just huge. So recently, Rhino Records has been doing these now playing compilations. Got another great one coming out this week. I think it was last week or the week before. I think they did a Notorious B.I.G. one. There's done some other ones over the last couple of weeks also. I think there's a Dokken one that either came out last week or this week. But this week you got Gordon Lightfoot coming out. This is a compilation of stuff from all across his career, some really great tracks. Also, maybe some deeper cuts on there also. Stuff that is equally as great as, say, the record of Edmund Fitzgerald, but doesn't really get the love or radio play that some of those other tracks do. So for $20, I'm probably going to grab that one this week. Gordon's one of those musicians that kind of along the lines of Alanis Morissette, where I'm good probably just having a compilation of, and then maybe one other release also, but definitely going to grab that one this week. And then the last one is Bowling for Soup, Songs People Actually Liked, Volume 2, the next 6 years, 2004 to 2009. It's going to run about $30 online. This is a new compilation from Bowling for Soup. Volume 1 actually came out in 2014, I think it was. And then, so you got 3 albums that came out over this 2004 to 2009 time period, including some of their best and most successful albums. A Hangover You Didn't Deserve came out in 2004. I think that was their highest charting album, and probably their best also. It's I don't know, Bowling for Soup's a pretty good, like, early part of the 2000s alternative band. Got some great music. They're probably best known for doing the soundtrack for the Disney, not soundtrack, but the theme song for the Disney show Phineas and Ferb, which my kids used to watch when they were younger. I didn't even know they actually did that song there for a long time. But I don't know. If you're unfamiliar with Bowling for Soup, definitely go and check them out. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you're looking forward to picking up this week. I think there's some great stuff coming out. I'm definitely going to get the MxPx album. I won't lie, I think I've got 4 copies of it on pre-order, but it's because I'm a degenerate record collector. But I've also got the Alice Cooper Road on pre-order. I'm probably going to grab that Gordon Lightfoot also. I think it's going to be a great week for music. But let me know what you're looking forward to picking up this week. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.